Let's look at your review. I'm going to go over a couple that you may have questions on. So number one, the mapping below represents all the points of the graph x, graph of the function f. We have x, and then remember f of x really means y, so it can be replaced. So don't let that confuse you. If it's asking for range, you would say y values. This is asking for domain, which are the x values. So you just need to make a list for the domain. You're just listing out all the x values. Okay, let's look at number 4. Which graph shows a function with a domain of all real numbers greater than 7? So we know domain is our x values. And so it's saying all real numbers greater than 7. So x is greater than 7 for our domain. So we need to look at our answer choices and see which one has a domain that is greater than 7. So domain is how far left and how far right the graph goes. So on A, we're going to look at how far left. So we are boxing it in. So it goes left, 7, and then right, we can't box it in, so it goes to infinity. So that means the x values are 7 or greater. So x is greater than 7 is our domain. And that's exactly what we're looking for. So that is our solution. I do want to look at the other answers, though, to make sure that you understand why the other ones aren't the answer. So letter C, we're looking at how far left. Well, it goes left to 0 and right to infinity. So this domain is x is greater than 0. That's why that's on it. The y value is 7, but we're talking about domain. B, how far left? Well, if I try to box it in, it's going left 7, and it goes nowhere else. It just stays on 7. So our domain is just x equals 7. D, same thing. The x value left and right is 7. It doesn't go anywhere. It stays right on 7. So this domain is x equals 7 also. Okay, then the next page, I'm going to let y'all look over the answer key. I'm going to go to 14. It says find g of 1. So whenever we use functions, like it's f of x, g of x, h of x, and so on, these all mean y, right? The whole thing equals y. But it's saying when x is this value, what is y? So this is g. I'm going to put g of x right over the top of g of 1. So this means when x equals 1, what is y? So it's asking for the coordinate of 1, comma something. So you're going to look on that graph and see what is the point where x is 1, what is y? So x being 1 is right here. Find out what the y value is. So it's that coordinate. And it's y is -3. So when x is 1, y is -3. So we can write this as g of 1 equals -3. Let's go to the last page. Let's go to number 22. In a sequence of numbers, A3 equals 25, A4 equals 28, A5 equals 31, write an equation that can be used to find the nth term of the sequence. So we are going to find the rule for this sequence. So we need to look at what kind of sequence it is. So it's saying that the third term is 25, fourth term 28, fifth term 31. What is the sequence going from one to the next? Plus 3. So this is an arithmetic sequence. And we want to find the rule. So the formula for the rules, which this is something I will give you on the test day. It's not something you have to remember. But this is from our notes for arithmetic sequences. It's A1 plus parentheses n minus 1 times D. So we need to know what A1 is. So A1 is our first term. A2 is our second term. A3 is our third term. A4 and A5. We know that the third term is 25. The fourth term is 28. The fifth term is 31.
You just subtract 30 from 25.
Yep, we need to go backwards because these are all plus 3, plus 3. So we need to go backwards and subtract 3. So it's 22. Subtract 3 more to get to the first term. It's 19. So AN equals, A1 is 19 plus n minus 1. We're going to keep n as our variable. And then D is our common difference. Yep, D equals 3. This is our rule, but we need to simplify it. So we need to distribute. So AN equals 19. 3 times n, we plus 3n. 3 times a negative 1, it's negative 3. Then we can combine our like terms. So it's AN equals, I'm going to put 3n first, and then bless you. 19 minus 3 would be 16. This is our rule. And remember, we can rewrite our rule with x's and y's and check our table of values and see if it's the same sequence. In the formula, this n minus 1 is at the regular level. It's not subscript. It's not a superscript. This 1 is a subscript, and this n is a subscript. They represent terms of the sequence. So whenever you look at 23, it says a sequence can be generated using AN equals 5, A, n minus 1, where A1 is 5 and n is greater than 1. What are the first 5 terms of the sequence? So this is our rule. AN, so n is a subscript, 5 is regular, A is regular, and then n minus 1 is a subscript. Yesterday, we talked about this. This is the recursive formula. And this A with a subscript of n minus 1, that means your previous term. We're not subtracting 1 from anything. We are just looking at what is the term that's before AN. So what is happening to the previous term? What is the pattern? So our pattern is to multiply by 5 to get the next term. So we look at what is the first term? It's 5. To get the next terms of the sequence, we multiply times 5. So 5 times 5. Yeah. And so just keep on multiplying times 5. That's your sequence, your pattern. All right, so I want you to finish your review now. Once you finish, I want you to look on Google Classroom at the answer key. I don't want you just copying the answers. That's not going to do you any good on the test tomorrow. You need to learn how I got the answer, work everything out, try to understand it so you're ready for your test tomorrow. Also, your notebook is going to be graded. It's all of Unit 3. So look at the Unit 3 divider, and everything going forward will be graded. So make sure that you have all your notes completed.